Hello, Ryan. Coach Shockley here. Thank you for sending me your video. Looks like you got a pretty good game here. So what we're going to do is get started on your side view first, and then run into your rear and then your release. Good job for the camera person to get these to me. Number one, Ryan, what you'll see on the Pro Bowlers Tour, and working with a lot of tour players over the years at Kegel, one of the things that I've always seen is the opposite hand from the bowling hand is going to always be cradling the ball. If you go to YouTube and you look at Norm Duke and Parker, they're always going to be cradling the ball underneath. So what I'd like to try is to see if you can get that hand a little bit more up underneath, a little bit in here. So just drop that down and cradle underneath a little bit. Then you can place the ball more with your left hand. Another thing, Ryan, what I see on tour that I'm seeing this you're doing is you keep this elbow out away from your body, and it's just a placement position. But normally you're not going to see any of this. So if I were you, I would try to drop this elbow in close to your side. I'm going to refer to Norm a lot because he used to come to Kegel all the time. So just that right there wouldn't hurt. Your stance as far as your right foot back is good. Probably would see, let's get you ready to go here, a little bit more flex in your knees. As I was studying this last night, it wouldn't hurt. Being a five-stepper, you're in good shape with step one. You're all right here. Ball placement is in a little bit early, but not bad. The contemporary players today do that. What I'm talking about is right here on one. Most people will push the ball out or place it out more on two, but you drop it in, which is no big deal because you catch up with your timing. I love the way that you do separate your left hand from the ball, but you'll see right here you've just got your hand in this position and the ball is being carried on the bowling hand, which creates a lot of tension here. You want a free swing when you do this. It wouldn't hurt in this position with your step, right, as if you could keep a little bit more flexibility here rather than be stiff. What we want to see is a little bit more of this. You see most of the tour players are in this position with, kind of a shock absorber here. Not bad on the next step. Pretty good here, except here we go again. A little bit stiff on this position. You see right here, not something that we want to always, do in that step. Just get a little bit more flex like this green line is showing again. Opposing arm is in good shape. If you look at the Vice poster in some pro shops, you're going to see this position. They do a nice job. The majority of what we got going with your swing is down at the end of the finish position. But we're going to look here. Beautiful power step. Obviously, you're a high-level player at home. I like the step right here. It's what we load up with. Your left thumb is down. You're in good position here. Can't beat you up too much. Now we're going to get some things going on. When you come in, we're a touch, I would say just a touch back from the foul line. And we're going to show you right here what's going to happen from here to here is where we got to go. You being a planter and not a slider is okay. Now I've had a lot of planters that have been really good players. See how you're stretched out though. Well, this position is with your chin back, straight out plant. It's in a tough position. And from here, when you're coming through, your leg is still stiff and you're in an upward position. What you want to be is a little bit more of an athletic position out front with your chin out in here, more knee bend to give you a better drop finish position so you're a little bit too stiff. Okay, so that's what's an area that I'd like to see be of more concern. And then you pop up at the end. Your camera person kind of left you there, but that's okay. See where you're bent at this area, but not near enough. You look at Doug Kent, some of the other tour players, and particularly Parker and Patrick Allen, and Mika. They're going to have a lot more flex in that area right there, rather than being quite so stiff. It's a pretty important thing to gather leverage in here. So what you got to do is you got to get more angle through here. And that'll help you. Back up again. Look good bowling backwards there. Here we go. Not too bad. Get your left hand underneath it. A little bit of a long step in here. Just a little bit. I try to work on shortening that down when you bend this knee. More flexibility. Left arm is still good. You keep your head steady. But as you see right here, see how your head pops up? A lot of times people say, Coach, why do I miss my mark so much? If you watch the head, it's coming down, back up. Right there. That's what we call the rear up on a stiff leg and a plant. Planters have that tendency because you're heel down, then you have to kind of catch it on the up. And you don't want to work on, you want to work on that to get rid of it. You got to be beautiful extension, good follow through. We're going to talk about your release here in a minute. But I think of all the things that I see, we'll recap the left hand placing the ball, get it underneath, cradle it, U-tube up norm. Relax on these legs a little bit, right there, a little too stiff. Power step, pivot step is good, left arm is good. You drop down pretty good here. It wouldn't hurt to drop down a little bit more and drive that knee toward the approach to give you a little bit more drive in through here. If you want to try to slide, that's one thing. It'd be probably pretty tough right here to put toe down and push and slide. I mean, you are obviously been in this situation before where you do plant. You see, most contemporary players don't plant. Some do, like I said earlier. But when you get there, that's what I call killing the bug. Wham. Your leg is stiff, and that robs you of a lot of things. We're going to see more of it in the rear view. Okay, so let's do that. Let's sneak into the rear view, and I got some things for you there. Okay. All right, here we are. Let's take a look on that rear. I don't have any problem with your setup with your shoulders. You're in pretty good shape. Maybe a little bit more of a position where you're down some. A lot of coaches in the old days used to say keep your right shoulder up. That's not true. You might want to drop it down just a little bit more. And your camera being a little bit more to the right has got your ball a little bit more visual. But if I had the camera more this way, we really don't want to see much of the ball. Okay, a whole lot. You like to, tilt your body a little bit open, being a player that you might go left to right some. But you really want to get that ball in line underneath your shoulder. So what I would do is work on getting the center line of that ball on the center of your shoulder off your collarbone a little bit. Okay? That's what we want to do there. Look at everything else with your footwork and your direction of your swing. First step on the one is good. Do we have a good crossover step? Yes, it's good here. I mean, crossover is your second step. I like Chris Barnes is the best at it. 1, 2. Wouldn't hurt to get that right foot a little bit more in a crossover right there, but it's not real bad. I wouldn't worry about that. I'll take that back. I wouldn't worry about that. Now, the swing direction is not bad as you come down underneath your right shoulder. Pretty good shape. You walk good. Here is good. You see where you kind of pop it to the inside a little bit? But what happens is you reroute and you come right back down the line. Then come through. But see what happened right there? That move there is where I really want you to work on to stay down through the shot. So we recap here. Ball a little bit more line with your right shoulder blade up underneath. That left foot's a little stiff right there, left leg. You drive that right foot on that pivot step, which is okay. Your walk direction seems to be fine. And right here, as you get ready, let's drive that right knee better. Down and stay down. There you go, your plant. And what you got to do is keep that right leg down. I'd like to see the right leg stay down and drag across, staying lower to that approach. You don't have to keep it on the approach, but I don't want you to do that. That's the key for a lot of your game. Just giving you some keys here. If you're a good player, and this area is where you're in good shape, but I want you to feel like if your knee is okay, if you cannot stiffen up, real stiff, really a lot on the upswing. Today's game, Ryan, we don't want to hit up on it. We want to get the ball down into the lane, smooth, plane coming in for a landing. And that's a critical show today, is to get it going down into the lane and not on the up. And through here, you want to get the ball about 1 foot and 2 foot out on the lane. Which you do a pretty good job of, but you really got to get rid of the upward motion. That's a pretty big key. Backing up again. I like to look at some of the tempo too. Pretty good shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a really good flow to your game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. People say you want to drop the ball in too soon. When you move the ball out, there's okay. That's contemporary timing, which you do a nice job. You got good rotation. Sure, you've thrown some pretty big scores. Terrific. Left arm looks fine. Don't have any issues with that. Sure, a player of your caliber needs to stay on top of lane transition, ball choices, motion of what you want to see the ball doing in the mid lane, things like that. You've accomplished a very, very solid game. What I'd like you to do is, if you want to, give me some information on an email after you've seen this to discuss some things if you want to. That's a big deal here. One more time, let's back up. Wrist is in a pretty strong position. That's no problem there. Swing direction, I'm not going to beat you up on that. It's solid. I love the way you get into this position again, like I said earlier. Excuse me. Then you come through. Follow through direction is a little what we call contemporary. It goes left a little bit in here, then it swings around, kind of goes in and around. Sometimes that'll get you in trouble if it's too much of a sway. See how it kind of pops around, comes to the direction, then it really kind of goes in that direction. It wouldn't hurt to keep that swing a little bit more dead on line, straight to the target through there. But it's off your hand. It's not a big issue, but just be careful that you don't do it too much, too hard, and wrap it. Okay? Let's jump on your release for a little bit. Got a pretty good swing back here. I like it. Just work on those areas of really staying down up here and not jump up off that foul line. Right there whenever you come to the release point. And drop that right shoulder, move the ball left. Don't try to hop up too hard on it, or what we call hit up on it. That's the death of the game today, is hitting up. Alright, what's the release look like? Okay, Ryan, I fast forward you right up here to where you've got the heel going down. You can see here, plant, ball's coming through in pretty good position there. A little bit blurry on this one, but we can work on it. There. Now, if you look at the tour, a lot of players are, what Randy Peterson said, going to get their position of their fingers to the inside of the ball, but you got yours to a little bit to the outside, which is what 90% of us all do. We draw a circle around here, what we're going to normally see is the fingers lower and over in this quadrant, right in here. So what I'm saying is that's a little bit more of the tour power position. Pretty hard, you know, you look at them, you go, and there's some YouTube areas where you can see this, where they really are in a strong, unbelievably good position that's tougher to do. But if you're a strong guy, you can probably do it where you've got fingers over here. People say, what do I got to do to get more heavy roll on the ball? You got to get more in that position, a little bit more Chris Barnes, somewhat around it, but not too much up the back to get a little bit better ball roll. But you do have a nice 3/4 coming through it. Strong rotation. Probably have, I don't know, if the cats were here, I would say probably maybe 300, maybe more. Rev rates, you know, pretty relative to whatever you do. I mean, a lot of players are 200 that can strike all day. Your thumb is in pretty good position here. I like the way the ball is on the downswing. Your hand position here, pretty solid. You seem like a you know, pinky is a tuck here. The same thing I do. But see where your fingers are here, right there. What I said earlier, they need to maintain somewhat of that position through the release point, through here, rather than be quite so much on the side. Now, being in the position right there, popping up, the ball should be going a little lower off your hand into the lane. See what I'm saying? It's kind of, because of your rear up a touch at the release point, it kind of comes down into that lane a little bit too steep from up here. Draw you a little path here, but let's get rid of that one. What I'm saying is right here at the release, just get that gap down just a little bit. And that does come from your left knee. So you're driving the ball, just like I said, kind of in a down situation. Boom. It might have a little bit of a double hit. Not sure, but that's something that we want to work on too. Right? So let's back up just a little bit. Working on those things again. Left hand underneath the ball. Left elbow in better position. Talked about that stiff leg. That's alright. Alright. Right there we're in trouble. Pivot step is good. Got that long step. If we could get a little bit closer to the foul line, get that knee bent. And like I said, if you want to try to slide, fine. If you can't right now in the middle of league season, that's another thing. But right there's the big deal for you. Is the up shot. Right in there. Got to work on that a lot. A lot of good players are able to get away with it with a plant. It's not a huge issue, but it can come into play and cause a little bit of a pull. Ball more in front of your right shoulder underneath it. Move it over here. Tilt the right shoulder down. Crossover steps good. Ball placement's pretty good. Fingers are behind the ball. Top is good. As you can see, here's where the issue is. And getting around it just a little bit, but not bad. You're not getting around it too much, but I'd like to see your fingers lower and to the left. And that's the same thing that we're looking at in that release view. Okay, give me an email sometime. Let me know what's going on. Thank you so much for sending me your video. Hope this covers a lot of information for you. You're a very good player, and you just needed some tune-ups in some areas. But I think this bit of information, this little bit that we've given you, is enough for you to have to really pound on and work on to get you to the next level. I'm sure that you're a 200 plus player at, like I said earlier, get your game to another level, is just clean up these little things and work on it and keep in touch. Thanks a lot, buddy. Okay, Ryan, thank you again for sending me your video. Hope you'll enjoy what I've given you and give you some things to work on. Number one, as we looked in that side view, what I want to see is a little bit more of that left hand underneath the ball. Like I said earlier, Norm Duke, if you see what they're doing, they're cradling the ball, then they're placing it into the swing, where you've got this kind of a position going. So you want to get this left hand underneath it. You look at Barnes, it's going to keep that left elbow in. Parker, Jason Couch are always going to be tucked in rather than this touching the ball and elbow out. Okay, I want you to work on that. You place the ball into the swing with earlier timing, which is good because that's an advanced move, which is really no issue at all. Your right foot's back, your posture's pretty good, maybe a little bit more flex in your knees. First step on your fine, you're fine here. Crossover step is good. But I do want you to move that ball in a little bit in here in the stance position, looking at you from the rear, rather than this posture here in ball placement. Just get the right shoulder down more and in through here and not in through here. Okay, that makes sense. You want to work on that a lot. Stiffen those steps a little bit. 1, 2, and 3. You've got a little bit of a stiffness going here. Work on that. Pivot step is good. Your short step right before the slide is good. Your issue being a planter. You come in for the plant. Got kind of a long last step coming in with this. Body position is here, a little bit too stiff in this position, and then what happens is you get that. So you get a little bit of this, which causes you to have a little bit too much of a hit up. And that creates some problems. You're right in here with your release on top, up in this quadrant. We should get it a little bit more down underneath the equator of the ball over into here. I think that's going to help you a lot. But your main issue, being a heel toe, is to pop up, which causes you to roll around the ball some. If you can come into here, into this position, I'll drive through, then you can keep your elbow in instead of your elbow out a little bit, which causes a little bit of a higher, weaker track, not too bad, but really would help you to get underneath and keep your body down. Okay, I think that's going to be some of the things that you need to work on. Email, keep in touch, let me know what's going on with your game. Thanks again, buddy, for sending me your video.